Hey everybody, it's that time of year again, November, which means vacation time. So we're going to Disney this year, and I thought I'd like to bring you with me. En route to Orlando, I thought to take in all the sights and sounds of the airplane. Everything from exit salads to doll wangs. There's nothing else really to talk about, so I'll just let you take in the sights.
Lovely Rita, Rita May. Lovely Rita, Rita May. Lovely Rita, Rita May. Nothing can come between us. When it gets dark, I tow your heart away. Standing by a parking meter, when I caught a glimpse of Rita, filling in a ticket in a little white book. In a cap, she looked much older, and the bag across her shoulder made her look a little like a military man. Lovely Rita, Rita may I inquire, Miss Rita, when are you free to some tea with me?
Now that we were out of the airport, we were on our way to Disney World. And the great thing is that we got an excellent first impression. But before we got to Disney, we had to stop somewhere to get some sustenance.
Most magical place on earth.
Location 1, Magic Kingdom. After a hearty night's sleep and a giant clam, we drove to Magic Kingdom, parked in Symbol 114, and then hitched a ride on the tram. And since the last time we were here, they added a new attraction as well as bringing back the train, so I thought it would be a good place to start. To get to the new ride, we had to walk through Tomorrowland, but what I was not expecting was one of the most gruesome, deadly, and disgusting things I've ever seen in my entire life. And we're here. The TRON ride opened earlier this year, and now it's our time to check it out. As a representation of the TRON franchise, this ride features all kinds of high technology that you'd probably expect from that franchise, especially this giant laser gun that is pointed directly toward the people in line, and a giant clam.
Behold the giant clam.
After a quick queue, we finally did the attraction. And what did I think?
Strange posture, I hope I didn't wet myself.
Yeah, that's the review. But the deadly race continued. I can't take it. It's too much. Millions lost. Millions of lives lost. Then we went to one of my favorite attractions in the park, Pirates of the Caribbean. But the queue was cold, kind of as cold as this guy.
Just more like it's cold and moist.
And this is where I made some discoveries. This is where they keep the Americans, this is where they keep the food, and this is where they keep the ride that's not ready yet. Now on to lunch. We went to be our guest, which I had never been before. The food was excellent, but I'd especially recommend the French onion soup. At the end, I got a card from the Beast himself, as well as the gray stuff. Since the train was back, we hopped on at the Fantasyland station.
Welcome to Fantasyland. Building.
Grand Circle Tour of the Magic Kingdom. We stopped along the way in Frontierland and Fantasyland.
Now I'll let you enjoy the marvelous sights inside of the train. Location 2, Epcot. We took the Skyliner to the park, which I've never done before, but that's kind of all I have to show for today. Location 3, Disney Springs. We parked in the orange Elfer garage and then we were on our way. When we got there, there was an epic harp extraordinaire playing, and I'd never seen a harp played that way, so I will just leave that on while I talk about what I really want to talk about today, which is this movie. We saw it at the theater behind the Harp Man, and I have a few thoughts on it. I celebrate the return of an actual Disney villain after we haven't really gotten a big one since Dr. Facilier, so I thought that was a great thing to bring back. And I thought the rest of the movie was pretty alright. I think the songs were probably better than the last few movies we had, but still not kind of to the Moana levels or pre-Moana levels. And I know that some of the elements of this movie are highly kind of derivative of other Disney movies, but I think that's kind of the point. Since it's a 100th anniversary movie, they want to, harken back to the days of old Disney and do something in that style such that you can see that in the visual style of the movie, which I enjoy. So overall, I really enjoyed it. It's not my favorite Disney movie, but I still enjoyed it and would gladly watch it again. Location 4, Hollywood Studios. We parked at Mickey's Precious Spot and went right to see Beauty and the Beast live on stage. By the way, if you're wondering who the two people at the bottom are in blue, they are two sign language interpreters. I'm glad that there are accommodations for shows for people who can't hear, but at the same time, it's like watching TV with closed captions but in real life. Also, this went on for the whole show. After the show had concluded, we then decided to go to the world premiere of Mickey's new short. Initially, when we waited through the line for this ride, we got all the way to right before you get on the little car, but the problem is the ride malfunctioned and we had to leave. So they gave us a fast pass to come back later, and then we did, and this is where the footage is from, the later version. So that's good. Mickey was talking all about how he's not going to be stopped. Well, neither am I even after that. So, yeah, that we then got on the ride. Oh, and if you're wondering where the footage of the ride is, I did not have any because that's the kind of quality assurance that I have for my content. I don't want to spoil the ride for you, so I'm not even going to go through the effort of showing you. So, you're welcome and all that. And then it was time to visit an old friend.
Lightning McQueen.
This one, let's say the answer all together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Ka-chow. Nice. Now, whenever you hear ka-chow, shout it back as loud as you can. Let's try it. Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. I think the real piston cup is the friends we made along the way.
The Tower of Terror was closed, so no hope of that. Then we decided to go to the crown jewel of the Disney night show, Fantasmic. Fantasmic is typically the only night show at Disney I tend to have to do every time, because the other ones are great, but this one I feel like it's just kind of a must for anyone who goes to the park. And I don't know, the imagery, the lights, the projections onto the water, the giant puppets, the sets, especially with the redesign, it's all really quite fantastic. So I think it's a must-do, and I think it's a perfect way to end your Disney trip if you decide to go. And after that, it was time that we leave the Walt Disney World, but not after embarrassing myself a little bit more in the parking lot.
Rita!